Quick minute. We got a packed show for you guys today. We're going to talk about the 76ers potentially moving to my beautiful state of New Jersey. I don't think that's going down, though. Ountae and I continue our NBA previews. We're going to the Southwest Division. Memphis Grizzlies. An interesting season. It could go one of two ways. They take the step forward, get into the playoffs, maybe a play-in, maybe a top 6 seed. Does Ja Morant get back to being an all-star? Or with all this whirlwind with this younger roster they're trying to bring along and, burning that first round pick on Zach Edey. Is this a win now team or trying to go in a soft rebuild? We'll get into all that. We got some more reports going around the NBA. We do some stop when you hear a better player than. We'll go to my boy Luka Doncic and some Angel Reese news as well. Let's bring in Ountae right now because my guy, we text all over the weekend, whether we're getting ready for a show or not. Yeah. Tay and I, one thing we always talk about, and I love talking about this with you, and just bouncing ideas and what I'm thinking of, we keep going through who's going to emerge out of the West. We know what the East is going to be. We know who the best team's going to be. We saw it last season. But the West team, we can't figure out what are we getting from the Nuggets. Then you brought up Mike Malone and Jamal Murray. Yep. You brought up where the Nuggets are at. I'll give it to you at this point. I'll set you up on this alley-oop. You throw it down, my guy.
Yeah, so of course over the weekend we saw that Jamal Murray got paid. He got the bag. He got an extension, 4 years, $208 million. A lot of money that we're talking about here. And I was just wondering because it's a little weird to see that he's getting paid. But a couple of days before, Mike Malone had the rumors that he was beefing with the front office a little bit, George. I feel like they were kind of just trying to, stash it away because, why now? Why not at the beginning of the summer? Why, in a couple of weeks once we actually get Jamal in the building in Denver and actually get him with the team. So It was a little weird timing that they did this. It kind of feels like they're trying to wash that narrative under the rug. But, bro, we ain't forget. Mike Malone is not happy with the front office. This is scary times for the Denver Nuggets. And we talked about them a couple of episodes, right? But, dude, what are they going to do? It just seems like every single year they get worse and worse and worse. They start to splinter even more and more and more. This was a team that we pegged last year before the season started as a team to go up against the Celtics in the finals, and they didn't even get close, honestly. So, man, how do you feel about that? Mike Malone, Jamal Murray, all of that situation.
What I always wonder is one of the most tender situations in all of pro sports is Nikola Jokic and his timeline of playing in the NBA. And Jokic obviously loves Mike Malone. Obviously, Mike Malone loves Nikola Jokic because he's coaching the best player in the league. But if you can't figure things out with Mike Malone and you piss him off, and it gets so fractured that you have to fire him, you trade him, whatever can happen in the NBA, all the outcomes.
Yeah.
And then that pisses off Nikola Jokic, and he goes, you know what, I'm done. I don't care, because that's a guy that will do that at any moment. I think that's what's so interesting with the whole dynamic that we have in Denver. And then you're right, 4 years, $208 million for a guy that's never been an all-star, shows up clutch in the playoffs, but has dealt with his hand of very significant injuries.
Yeah.
And Jamal Murray's an up-and-down guy of not always healthy in the postseason. Crucial when they won the whole thing, but that is Jokic. And now when you have this roster getting to the point that it is, you know why Mike Malone's pissed right now. You let Kentavious Caldwell-Pope walk? That's a guy that gets it done on both ends of the floor. Look at my roster. It's gone worse year by year.
Yep.
Bruce Brown, I don't think could have ever returned, but you know what? I think he could have at this point. Who cares of overpaying in the NBA and paying the tax? I think it's Mike Malone being pissed off at the front office. I think it's Mike Malone being pissed off with ownership. And where it's one of two ways of if we're going to be smart team building, why are we giving this huge chunk to Jamal Murray, who's a good player, but so polarizing in a way.
Yeah.
Where it's we have the best player in the world. He controls every game that we're in, but he needs help around him, and they're not doing that. And he obviously needs more than Jamal Murray. So I agree. The timing of this is so just puzzling to me in a way.
Yeah, it's definitely puzzling because I don't think Jamal Murray impressed anybody. We know that guys get paid usually, right, if they have a good Olympic run. We saw Yabusele was getting a lot of interest, you know what I mean? He finally got signed. Guys like that, it happens that way. But you also see it go the other way as well, where guys play bad in the Olympics and teams are like, So maybe they're doing this right now because Jamal Murray was so bad for Team Canada this summer that they're like, hey, let's do it and get our guy at a cheaper price.
Get ahead of the market.
Exactly. But it does seem a little weird, obviously, with the fact that this Mike Malone story comes out going into the weekend, and then 2 days later they're like, hey, Jamal, you want some money? So it's a little weird with the timing, but let's talk about another team that's actually probably going to deal with the Celtics a lot earlier, the 76ers. Obviously, the 76ers have been talked about. There's reports that they may leave Philadelphia and head to your state of New Jersey, like you said, George.
Bro.
Do you think this is actually going to happen?
No, I think it's a leverage play. And as much as I would love for New Jersey to have an NBA team again, when you read the reports on this, it is the Wells Fargo lease ends in 2031. Okay. And the owners and the planners that go into building a new arenas, they claim they need something to be decided now in 2024 in order to have a new arena ready for 2032. And Wells Fargo is one of the best home courts in the NBA. It's where the 76ers play. It's where Villanova sometimes play. It's where the Philadelphia Flyers play. But as we've seen with every NBA team, they want their own arena. Like, they don't want to worry about schedule conflicts with other teams. But also, Wells Fargo was built in, like, 96. So it's one of the oldest buildings in the NBA as well.
Right. Hey, 96 not that old. 96 not that old.
What is that, 28 years old, right?
96 not that old.
Not a bad year. Someone was born that year. It's my boy, Ted. I forget, man. Tate, wise beyond his years. I forget you're only 2 years younger than me, but in a good way. It's your energy, my guy.
Appreciate that.
You got the young energy, but you got the maturity. That's for sure.
Shout out.
But back to the Wells Fargo thing, what I see, the Sixers claim they're running out of time. They want a 2032 season. They proposed a $1.5 billion arena in the Chinatown part of Philly. Now, anyone that doesn't know also, so you're like, wait, but they'd go to New Jersey. Camden is right across a bridge, pretty much like a 15-minute drive, no traffic, from Philly to Camden. It's where the Sixers have their practice facilities and their offices.
Yep.
I guarantee you it's a lot cheaper to build in Camden, New Jersey than it is in the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But I don't care. And I know the NBA does, or well, pro leagues don't care that if a team is in New Jersey to brand it as a different city. New York Jets and Giants, thank you very much. I don't care. You can't do this to Philly. That is a city that is so rich in its fabric of sports and what it means there. If you take the 76ers out of Philadelphia, and even though South Jersey fandom-wise is Philadelphia pretty much. They're all Eagles, they're all Phillies, they're all Sixers, they're all Flyers. Even though that's how South Jersey rocks, doing that to the city and the people from Pennsylvania, it would just be so wrong to me, dude. And what are you going to rebrand? You're not going Camden as the New Jersey 76ers.
No.
It has to be Philadelphia. I mean, the significance of that team to that city, everything's a leverage play to me when I'm looking at this. And it's even for New Jersey trying to get them over. I mean, what do all these cities want to do? They want to revitalize, rebuild. It wouldn't just be an arena going to Camden. Obviously, it'd be a whole complex, a whole, campus, lack of a better term. Arena, shopping district, high-rise apartments. We know how it goes of all these new buildings and building up. New Jersey state officials offered $800 million in tax credit to the 76ers owners if they build in Camden. I still don't see it happening, bro. I think it's all a leverage play of, here's our arena. We proposed it. We want it in Chinatown. You guys are saying no. They obviously want it publicly funded for taxpayers. So go, all right, bet we'll go to Jersey and Philly. You're going to lose a team. You're going to lose all this business.
Right. You know what I was thinking when I saw this news come up? If I was New Jersey, I would hate being the NBA and NFL side chick all the time. Everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, that's all New Jersey is to the NBA and the NFL.
We're just a placeholder for MetLife.
It's just like, it's like your girl is acting up. Like, hey, I got this one now. I'll act right. That's pretty much what New Jersey is.
Bro, we know our role and where we are, man. We're the ugly stepchild.
No credit
we wouldn't want it any other way.
No credit ever goes to New Jersey. If the 76ers did leave and go to Camden, there's no way, like you said, they're being rebranded as New Jersey 76ers, Camden 76ers. That's not happening. They will be the Philadelphia 76ers, but they will play in Camden, New Jersey. I'm with you, though. I don't think this is going to happen. It's just one of those things, like you said, a leverage play. They're going to sit there and they're going to say, hey, like, they're going to do right by us. They're going to pay us. They're going to build us a beautiful new stadium, blah, 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 whatever. And Philadelphia is going to say no, the tradition, all this other stuff. You're going to have to get Dr. J probably out here to, say something for the team and speak on the team's behalf. Charles Barkley will come out. Allen Iverson will come out, and they'll all figure it out. But it is surprising to see that this is even a story that's coming out, because when you think Philadelphia, you think 76ers. You think Eagles, you think Phillies. You know what I mean? These teams are so Philly ingrained that it doesn't make sense to see them anywhere else.
And I wonder, I mean, we just saw the Wizards are going through it of them trying to relocate their arena out of D.C., but where that arena is located in D.C. is so vital for the progress they've made in developing that part of the city, like business-wise.
Yep.
It's an art district, more of the way they put it. And it's interesting, too, because some of the biggest Philly fans I know, they're from South Jersey. They would love it. They don't got to go over the bridge. What's the infrastructure like? How can you get the fans that are in Pennsylvania? It's not going to happen, bro.
Right.
If New Jersey gets an NBA team, you're putting them on the water in Hoboken, but you don't got anywhere to build. You're putting them in the Meadowlands next to MetLife where the Nets used to play.
Right.
I laughed. There was a headline of 76ers could go to the Nets' old home. I go, they're giving them the Izod Center? Like, they're going to put them back in the Meadowlands? I was like, no, Camden, whoever. The Nets played in Camden in 67.
Yeah.
It's all leverage play. And you're right. Like, we're the ugly stepchild. It's all good. But you can't do that to a city like Philly. It's all leverage plays. And I think Philly is a smart enough city where they're going to see this. They know a solution will be brought together. They know they're not going anywhere. You cannot leave Philadelphia. It's one of those cities, bro. There's New York, there's Boston, there's Philly, and there's LA.
Yeah.
You can't actually leave that city.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's talk about a team that actually did relocate back in the day. The Memphis Grizzlies, a.k.a. the Vancouver Grizzlies.
What a change.
It's our time to obviously talk about them in the Southwest Division. They're the first team that I'm bringing up. Obviously, Ja Morant is expected to be back and healthy this entire season. What do you think about this team's outlook for this season, George?
I kind of said it when I did I just don't know what the timeline they're on is. Like, we've seen their additions throughout the draft. We've seen G.G. Jackson. We know they got Triple J. We know what they found in Desmond Bane, like a good diamond in the rough in a way in Bane of a guy that the Celtics said, go ahead, take him. Trade for Marcus Smart to hope and be a leader in that locker room and mature Ja Morant.
Yep.
But then this draft, getting Zach Edey with a 9th pick, good player, development, and he just doesn't fit this offensive team at all. Like, how much you'd have to slow down the game for him when you have Ja Morant, one of the most explosive, electric players in the league. I like the Cam Spencer pick.
Yeah.
You get someone from UConn, gritty, smart, just knows how to play, good shooter. Would have been, oh my God, like created in a factory to play at Duke. But then Danny Hurley gets him. And you want anyone that's played for Danny Hurley because he will bring out the mother effer in them. Like, I like that Cam Spencer pick. I just don't know where they're at. And we'll see how healthy Ja Morant is after being shut down last season with that shoulder injury and that surgery.
Yeah.
Is he finally matured? Does he get back to being an all-star? Is he one of the best guards in the league once again? There's just so many question marks. This is a team I think is in a rebuild without showing it and without it being that obvious in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, they could be playing, they could be a 5 seed. I wouldn't be shocked. And then they could be on the outside looking in, and I would say, I guess that makes sense because I don't know what Zach Kleinman's long-term plan is.
Right. Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's kind of like a will they, won't they? I think they shocked a lot of people the last time that they were good when Ja was healthy. They were a 2 seed. It was that, okay, we're playing the Memphis Grizzlies. Guys probably going out having a good time the night beforehand. They're chilling, whatever. Next thing you know, this young team that shoots the ball extremely well and is fast as heck and is jumping in passing lanes, comes at you, and next thing you know, you're in a game and they just happen to win it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to catch anybody off guard. Obviously, a lot of people last year were expecting them to be a good team, and then when they got the bad team, they just whooped their butt. You know what I mean? Because everybody was hurt. But yeah, having Ja back is going to be huge for them. Desmond Bane, obviously adding a bunch of new guys like Edey, Cam Spencer, re-signing Luke Kennard is going to be huge for them. I think their team is just. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's tough. It's tough to land. I know I'm like higher on a lot of teams this year, but I think they're probably a 6-7 seed. That's where I want to say this year in the West.
Right, that's where I fall too.
I'm falling to a 6-7. Yeah, I think like Marcus Smart is going to be huge for them defensively. I think that's where they kind of lacked a little bit because Ja is such an offensive guard. He really takes off a lot of plays, at least from what we've seen of the healthy Ja 2 years ago,
Yep.
you know, taking plays off, standing up and down on defense because he was such a system for them on offense and so exciting for them, and just energy that he brought to them on offense. It was really a lot of gambling and standing straight up and down. So having Marcus Smart there with them to teach him the tools of the game, like there are tricks to be played on defense. It's not all about physical tools, and Marcus Smart has all of them in the bag. I mean, he can do like, oh, this guy dribbles twice on the second dribble when they get lazy, like jump that hand and do all this on the way down because, you know, they can't react to it while it's going down. Like, he knows everything, man. You just listen to him talk. He knows how to defend every single guy in the league, and he can teach Ja how to guard some of these great point guards that he's going to have to be tasked with guarding throughout his career if Memphis wants to win games. So I'm right there with you. I'm around the 6th seed. I wanted to ask you, though, do you think Ja Morant can make an all-star team in the West this year?
I want to follow up your Marcus Smart one quick, though. It's also the type of leader he is. Like, I covered the Celtics when they lost to the Wolves, what was that, 2022.
Yep.
And Jayson Tatum had an awful Game 6. They lose at home. Celtics blow that lead. Just such a letdown for the playoff run they had. And obviously 2 years ahead of schedule in a way. I mean, they've always been ahead of schedule. But anyhow, Tatum's never been good at press conferences, and I'll never forget. We have to wait. And I don't blame him. Yo, your season's over. You finally get to the finals and lose. Like, we wait 2 hours for your post-game presser. Like, I will never fault a player. And he always does them by himself.
Yep.
This press conference, Marcus Smart went up to the podium with Tatum, and my initial thought was, this never happens. Questions were asked to JT. He didn't want to talk, and again, I don't blame him. Marcus Smart, the leader that he is, took every single one on the chin.
Yeah.
That's how he is, and he's going to show a guy like Ja that. And again, I think a play for Marcus Smart's somewhat win now, but it's more of build the culture, build the blocks right now for Ja to eventually be that dude.
Yeah.
You said with Ja being an all-star, how can I rule him out, man? If he has a full, healthy season, he gets back to that 2022, 2023 Ja.
Yeah.
Like, how can I say no that he'd be an all-star again? He's such a talented guard. He's so explosive. And when he takes over a game and his shot is falling and everything he's doing around the rim, especially running it in the full court, like, he can be the best player on the floor. So to string it together and to be an all-star, I would never rule Ja out as long as he's healthy and as long as his mentals are there to be focused on the floor. What do you think about Ja for an all-star? It's like they're ceiling Ja, but we know how low that floor is.
Yeah.
And the floor isn't just what he does on the floor.
Yep.
The floor is what happens when he's away from the court. That's what's tough with Ja, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm right there with you. I think where I start to get nervous about Ja being an all-star in the West is like, it's just super guard heavy. You know what I mean?
Fox. It's like I start low.
So like I'm looking. Right? You got SGA. You know, Ant's making it. You know, Harden's gonna have a chance. You know what I mean? He's gonna have a chance. I'm just running through the standings.
I feel
Luka's obviously going to be there.
Kyrie.
Booker is going to be there. Kyrie has a chance. Once again, a chance.
Steph.
You got DeJounte Murray now entering the West as well. Steph, De'Aaron Fox, Jalen Green might be ascending. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's starting to get a little rough at that guard position in the West. And I think Ja, I'm not trying to have recency bias. Like we remember, right? MVP candidate, all of that stuff. But does he have the same athleticism after all of these injuries?
I know.
You know what I mean? That's the question. And that was what his game was, because he's not a shooter. We know that. You know what I mean? Like, he gets to the mid-range and shoots that floater. That's pretty much where I'm comfortable with him from his range, is like out to 15 feet, maybe even a little bit closer. With a 3-point shot, it's like it's here some nights, it's not there other nights. You know what I mean? It's not consistent. So I think he's going to be flashy and he's going to put up a lot of points. I also think like he's going to get bullied a lot because like their team is just small. You know what I'm saying? So he could be in jeopardy of getting hurt again because he's going to the rim trying to, be physical with guys and all this other stuff. And their team is going to have to fight a lot. Just like when they were winning games and they were the 2 seed, they were fighting in a lot of games, had Dylan Brooks, you know what I mean, doing all of that other stuff. But once again, they had Dylan Brooks. They had Steven Adams. They had physical guys. This year they don't. And so Ja's going to be tasked to be a physical guard, and that could be scary for his injury health.
You would hope Triple J, GG, Jackson, Marcus Smart can be that, though.
Yeah, you would
But again,
hope.
with Triple J, it's a question of his health, too.
Yeah, and you would hope, but like they're probably going to start Vince Williams Jr. at the 3. He's 6'4". Santi Aldama's not a big guy.
I know.
Triple J doesn't play big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always talked about that, especially since watching him in FIBA 2 summers ago. He doesn't play like a big, you know what I mean? He blocks shot and he shoots threes, but he's not banging with anybody, you know what I mean? So it's one of those teams where a lot of the guards are going to have to put their bodies on the line in order to make sure that the back line doesn't have to do as much. And with that, Ja could be in the middle of some things that, get him hurt again.
Mm-hmm. It's been the question of his health. I'm gonna go with a optimistic take on Ja Morant. So yes, he can be an all-star.
Yeah.
But we hit it. And the reason people are driving, listening, they go, why was the first guard I listed off De'Aaron Fox? I wanted to start on the bottom, and De'Aaron Fox is a great point guard.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to start in the bottom of the competition that's in the West just to be an all-star. I mean, it went up right there, without even thinking D-Book, Steph, you hit it all on the head.
Yeah.
My thing, too, is, is this a playoff team? I'm going to flip it on you, Tay.
Yep.
Stop me when I say a team that is worse than the Grizz, all right?
Okay, worse than the Grizz.
Say stop when say a team that's worse than the Grizz.
Okay.
The Thunder. The Timberwolves.
Okay.
This could be tough. The Mavericks.
The Mavericks. Okay. Keep going.
The Suns.
I might stop you there.
All right.
I might.
Might. Don't. So it's not a definitive.
Yeah.
The Nuggets.
No.
The Kings.
The Kings.
The Lakers.
They got better with DeMar. I forgot to say DeMar, another great guard.
Yeah.
Lakers, they're better than Lakers. You can stop there.
All right, so I listed off 6 teams.
Yeah.
So
6
you
or
and
7.
I both see them as a play-in team.
Yeah, but the Pelicans might be better than them too.
Yeah, I didn't even get to the Pelicans.
And and the Clippers might be better than them too if they can stay healthy.
Dude, I don't do they make the playoffs?
That's if, you know what I mean? It's with Kawhi, and we've talked about them.
The volatility of the Grizzlies is just perplexing.
Yeah.
And I think this is a team sit back, watch, and see what they do. And you find out a lot about a guy like Ja that's in a situation like this. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you also find out a lot about their timeline as well.
Yeah, you do. And I'm right there with you. It's they might not be a playoff team, but I think they should be because once again,
they should.
Their offensive firepower, with Desmond Bane and Ja Morant, and hopefully a good Triple J, they have the offensive firepower to put up points every night. Mm-hmm. It's whether they're going to be able to get stops. Yeah. And that's what that 2-seed Grizzlies team did. They got stops because Dillon Brooks, as annoying as he is a good defender in this league. He is good at getting under people's skin and getting them out of their game. And obviously, we know how great of a defender Steven Adams was a couple of years ago. It's just a little different now. But
I'm even thinking of a guy this is what they need to step up, a Scottie Pippen Jr., who had an okay season for them when he played. That's 6'1", 175.
Right.
I can't find size.
Yeah.
And I can't find stops on this roster.
And then, maybe Edey does come on and play a huge role for them. Baycott, obviously a good player in college.
Drafted free agent.
He can rebound for them. Undrafted dude. Brendan Clark is a good rebounder in this league.
Did you watch any Jalen Wells at Washington State?
A little bit.
I did.
A little bit.
I did not watch Washington.
A little
basketball.
bit.
Sorry, guys. I wasn't a big Cougars fan.
One of my friends played in the Pac-12 last year. So I watched a couple of those matchups. So I seen him. He's good. But I did want to ask you about the rookie that they have, obviously.
Yeah.
The lottery pick, Zach Edey. We're going to talk about bets a little bit. I really don't have any bets. He's the betting favorite for rookie of the year right now. Would you throw money down on that?
Nah, because I just don't know what his role is. But look at your boy Dalton Connect landing with the Lakers. He's going to play significant minutes.
Yep.
He's going to be with one of the smartest players in the league in LeBron.
Yep.
He's going to play off of 2 superstars. I'd look at Reed Shepherd. Again, there's a lot of ballers in Houston. I like Reed Shepherd's game, but I don't know. I just look at Dalton Connect. If I'm going to throw money on rookie of the year, just straight up. I saw Edey's plus 550. Still a long shot. On Connect. His number's not that much. He's not much longer of a shot.
Yeah.
But let me just think of who's going to be rookie of the year, regardless of the number, because it's all plus money.
Yep.
If I'm betting, I would go with a guy like Dalton Connect. Honestly, I would go over Sarr, over Reese Shea.
Yeah.
Over a lot of these guys. I just think the situation he landed in, but the amount of minutes he's going to have to play in a Lakers team that is trying to take a step forward in a packed West.
Yep.
And Dalton Connect is a popular name, especially for those that like college basketball. That's a guy that can do the right things to win rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I just don't. Zach Edey could bring something on defense. I don't know how he stays on the floor offensively with this Grizzlies team, bro.
That's fair. Is there any bets that you like from this team? I just wanted to ask you.
I'm staying away.
Yeah.
Like, even to make the playoffs is weird. Like, 47.5 wins. Vegas says what they think of them. Mm-hmm. I think you'd have to sweat that out to, like, the last week of the season. Like, I'm staying away. I just don't know with this team. I don't know what they're doing, so I'm just staying away, bro.
Yeah, I agree, bro. I'm the same way. I'm kind of staying away because it's a lot of too unknown, maybe game to game once we get into the season. All right, Jimmy Butler has been talking a little bit. He is apparently just considering quotation marks, considering that he's fond of joining the Brooklyn Nets in 2025 free agency. George, how do you feel about this situation?
Like, what's the coffee market like in Brooklyn, right? Like, all those hipsters in Williamsburg, and like, be cool to live in Bed-Stuy. Like, I think he'd enjoy it. You're in New York. He's into fashion. He's into traveling. It's not a basketball decision.
No,
and just bringing
not.
up Brooklyn is like, it's Jimmy, bro. Like, he says he does weird things. He messes around with people. I just don't put any weight behind this at all.
Yeah.
If he's fond of considering the Brooklyn Nets, that tells me he's like, I'll go anywhere. Yeah. And in reality, he won't go anywhere. But like, he's just like, bro, I'm gonna be a free agent. I'll look at anybody. I'm not gonna turn him down.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, like, there's nothing there, man. No one cares about the Brooklyn Nets. There's no fan base there. Like,
no.
The future of the franchise, no one knows. It's just always been like, could be good, falls off. Like, we know the failed experiment of KD, Harden, and Kyrie too. Like, Brooklyn?
Yeah.
And again, like, you want to live in Brooklyn instead of Miami? I don't get the love for Brooklyn. Like, I've been there. I do like Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But again, if you're going to be able to pick where to live, let's say based off free agency alone, you want to live in Brooklyn? Like,
you're not a big
South
Dumbo
Beach?
guy?
What's that?
Not a big Dumbo guy?
I've never been to Dumbo. Like, I mean, I want to go. Picture looks cool. I bet I'll be like in shock. But like, I've been to Brooklyn. Bed-Stuy is more of the spot where I like to go around. I just think the culture there is awesome. Like, the straight up block parties people have right in front of the brownstone, and like one of the most welcoming neighborhoods you'd be in. In a great way of like, hey, come in, check out how we are, and like, you know, pull up, grab a cup, grab a plate, you know, just be one of us. But just it's for an NBA and for a basketball decision, this would be terrible for anyone that would want to go to Brooklyn. Yeah,
their projected lineup for this upcoming season.
I didn't even get into the basketball part. Yeah, go on this.
Is Dennis Schroeder, Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Nick Claxton.
Yeah. Nick Claxton still being a 5 is like perplexing to me.
I don't know.
Like, bro, like, what is that?
Yeah, I don't know how you go there and you sit there and you think like, oh, this is a team that I could go to for basketball reasons. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, he hated being in Minnesota. Like, ran the ones off the floor playing with the backups. What is he going to do in Brooklyn?
And
there's no culture too. Like, he wants to bust his ass.
And I get it. Like, maybe you're not happy with Miami. Like, you didn't like how like Pat Riley handled you and your situation this offseason, whatever. Like, I get that. But like, Brooklyn, really?
That's what I'm saying.
Brooklyn, no one wants to go there, bro. Like, not to play basketball, that's for sure. You're just basically giving up on a championship. But all right, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
It's our time for Stop Me When. So stop me when you hear a player better than Luka Doncic.
Let's do it.
All right, man. We're going to start off easy, and then we're going to get a little bit harder. The guy that he was traded for on draft night.
Keep going.
All right, Tony.
Now, this is guys, if they're currently playing, it's their current.
If they're currently playing, it's their current attributes.
Yeah.
If they are former player retired, then they get to have the pleasure of being in their prime.
All right, we're good.
All right. So this player is a retired player, Tony Parker.
Oh, no.
Okay. Current player, Anthony Edwards.
Oh, man.
This one's going to be a tough episode of Stop Me When for you, just so you know.
This one.
Anthony Edwards with a third name, like, this is going to be tough.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. Part of me wants to say, but Luka in clutch, like one of the players I want, like you're down a bucket, 2 minutes to go, 30 seconds to go, 10 seconds to go. I want Luka shooting.
Yep.
On top of everything else he does. What Ant has, though, is how he approaches a game, the shape he's in, that dog he has, that mentality. Like, I think Ant's going to get there. I think he's going to get to that Luka level, but I don't think he's there yet.
Okay. What about SGA? Shea Gilgis.
I've seen it. We've
Alexander.
seen it from Luka so much. Like that's my thing. And like,
Yep.
I'm an SGA guy. You put me in a bad spot, bro. You're making me look bad. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say that 4-letter word yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna move on from SGA. That's tough. Back to back tough ones, Tay. You're good at this, bro.
What about this guy, Boston's very own Jayson Tatum?
Stop. Won it. All pro. Late game shot taker, changed his game into a playmaker when they need him to be. Both ends of the floor, what he does as well, like how big he is, and he could be a great defender out on the wing or down low.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen it multiple seasons. That's why I didn't say stop for Ant.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't say stop for SGA either. And when even in the finals matchup, like I was saying that the Celtics have 2 of the 3 best players, but I
Yep.
was going JT, JB, then Luka. And then I would say the Celtics had 5 or 6 of the next 7 best. Well, no. They would have 3 of the top 5 players because you could put
Right.
Kyrie 4th or 5th,
Right,
and that's how
right.
you look at it. No, I say stop at JT.
Okay, so I have to ask you this before I run through the rest of the list. If you switched out JT for Luka right now, which team would be better, the Celtics or the Mavericks? And I agree with you. Tatum's a better player. But I just want to know how you stand on this, which is a completely different conversation. You know what I mean?
I know. The Celtics are still better. Like JT's a better player,
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at this whole team and how it's built, and we're talking like they're flipping right now, right?
Yeah,
After
yeah.
that championship experience, after what we saw them just go through,
Yeah.
Celtics are still the better team.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away that Jayson Tatum's a better player.
Jayson
than Luka.
Tatum's the better player, but the Celtics just have a more complete roster, and that's fair.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if you
You know
split
what?
them,
I don't. Do the Mavericks? Let me flip this on you.
Yes.
You flip them last year.
Yes.
You flip their spots. Do the Mavericks make it to the finals if Jayson Tatum's there instead of Luka?
ooh.
I had to do it to you, bro.
I mean, I'm gonna say no off the basis of like the Kyrie JT relationship. You know what I mean? Like we
Oh.
saw that together, and we saw how it didn't work. You know what I
What
mean?
if it's JB there?
You know,
They're
JB.
boys.
I think the same thing. Like we saw them together too. You know
I
what I
just
mean?
don't-
Kyrie and JB together.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like their games don't match.
Luka has that dog.
Yes.
And that's a thing of like the Mavericks needed those clutch like games, let alone full on series from Luka.
Yes.
And like, can JT do it as long as that? And like Luka rises to the occasion.
Yes.
But like we're talking complete game. That's why Tatum I think is better.
Yeah.
And Tatum's only getting better too. Luka's been playing pro basketball since he was 6'15".
Yeah.
So this was a good one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna keep running through really quickly. So
Yeah.
current players,
Let's
current
see.
abilities, if they're retired, past abilities, prime. LeBron James.
Stop. LeBron better than Luka.
Okay. Okay. Stephen Curry.
Now it's right now.
Yes. Right now. Today.
Bro, he just hit 353s in a season. Stop.
Okay. Allen Iverson.
And the gravity he still has. Oh, that bag. Luka
Prime
with the-
AI. They
Luka with
both
the
carried
range,
their
though.
team to
You know
the.
how I stand on this. I think peak Kyrie, like
Yep.
one-on-one is like better than AI. I wouldn't say stop for AI.
Okay. The Pistons, Isaiah Thomas. Yeah.
I
you're
would
gonna-
take Luka over.
Okay.
IT.
Magic Johnson.
Oh, stop.
Okay, and then obviously,
Magic.
Yeah, and then obviously the European brother Nikola Jokic.
Stop.
Yeah, all right. Well,
Wait,
I
you
thought
didn't like that LeBron Steph call?
not right now.
It is him current. I know.
Not right now.
I know. But Steph with the gravity and how bad that Warriors roster
You put
was.
LeBron on that Mavericks team. He's not carrying them to the finals. Luka
know.
did. So I'm rocking with Luka.
Luka
bro.
with his size, I know how tough of a matchup he is. How smart he is when a guy gets on his hip too. Like he can do so many things
Yeah.
to matchups. But
Yeah.
it's LeBron, bro.
Nah,
I don't know if LeBron could be healthy.
All right.
I think of Steph's gravity, and Luka has gravity, but Steph's is different.
Yeah.
And what he did with how tough this Warriors roster was, of like what they're trying with Kuminga and like Steve Kerr, like relegating him to, it's just weird. Steph still I take right now. Like he still had an all-time season.
Yeah, I might rock with Steph more than I rock with Bron.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm not giving Bron the nod over Luka right now. Not right now. That was a good one,
bro.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
All right, so now we got to talk about Angel Reese. Sad news. She's out for the rest of the season. She had a season-ending injury with her wrist.
Yep.
It was talked about all over Twitter this weekend. That's all I could see, man. Do you think the Sky, who are in a battle for that 8 seed, can still make the playoffs without her?
I think she does so much on both ends of the floor, especially just like controlling a game at a certain point of like what her rebounding is. Like per game average, already set the WNBA record.
Yep.
Had all those double doubles as well. I just think she's too important of a piece for this team that had a good draft that, I mean, won a ring a couple years ago. But with the pieces that they have, I just think she's too important. I don't like they can withstand the storm to stay in the playoffs, and not literally the Seattle storm, but like the storm that's coming without Angel Reese. Like, maybe they can weather that and just sneak in just because of the work they've done. But like for them to just be on the cliff of being in or out, losing their best player, I just don't know how that can happen.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, especially because it seems like the Dream are really pushing to get into the playoffs. As we're recording this, they're playing against the Fever right now, up 15 in the third quarter. And we know that Fever team has been rolling, right?
Yep.
So I think the Atlanta Dream are a team that are really hungry right now. And the Sky have honestly just been falling off. Ever since that Olympic break, they haven't been the same team. They haven't been as hungry. They haven't been as locked in. They've been sloppy late games. I've been sitting here in the office with you guys watching them finish games poorly as games that they should have won. You know what I mean? So they had their opportunity, and it looks like they're going the other way, and this is the icing on the cake for them. I'm sad to say that I think that the Sky are going to miss the playoffs, and this is going to be a hindrance now on Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark conversation. Like, well, Caitlin Clark took her team to the playoffs the first year.
Angel Reese didn't make it. Not knowing Angel got injured.
Right, they're going to. And also that Camila Cardoso was out for, a good portion of the season to start the year too, who has been helping them win games recently when she's been healthy and they've been winning. She's been a big part of those wins, blocking shots, now leading the rookies for blocks in the season. So, it's kind of annoying that that's going to be the narrative now. But Angel, man, get healthy because you are such a good player. And I feel like this is one of those things like where she was honestly feeling this a while ago. And this is probably why her field goal percentage has started to tank since the Olympic break, because she probably wasn't healthy. You know what I mean? And she's a fighter. She's a hard worker. And I know she wanted to be there for her team. So she played through it. So I can't wait to see her next year, and I hope that the Sky do make it to the playoffs and she has that matchup with Caitlin. And I would just love to see that, but we don't get that this year, or we might not get that this year, and that's kind of sad.
I know it was, and it had to have gone to a point where the Sky looking at it like the long-term damage you can, occur to your wrist based off this. Like, let's shut it down.
Yeah,
let's bring it in. Her statement, releasing a ton, and then she goes, all I ever wanted was to come into the W and make an impact. I can confidently say I've done that, and will strive to keep doing so. I'm filled with emotions right now that I have a season-ending injury, but also filled with so much gratitude for what is next. She's always pushing that, and I get it, because it's like no matter what she does, she hears about Caitlin Clark more. But for her to she has to go out of her way to say I made an impact. I got into the W. I had a positive. She did on the league, and that's again something that Angel Reese could get dogged for. I read it, I'm like, all right, why do you have to say that? But no one else is saying it for her. I think it's also if she gets into the offseason sooner, mentally gets away from the run it's been on of her at LSU, her matching up with Caitlin Clark all throughout the season, what that narrative has been. They come into the league, all the matchups they had as well. I think for her to get a break and to get away from basketball, not even if they got into the playoffs, I think that's important for her of get away, come back into year 2, be refreshed, and not worry about what other people think of you, not worry about all the attention Caitlin Clark is, just keep bringing her game. And I think that'll help her be a lot fresher mentally and her be a better player too.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. All right, George, that's it for us here on Hold My Banner. I do have to say, though, my city's up. I know everybody's seen that news. You know what I'm saying?
Big halftime show in the Super Bowl, baby.
Hey, Kendrick's on hosting the Super Bowl halftime show, man. My city's on top. You know what I'm saying? Hey. Yeah, bro. So I can't wait, bro.
Bro, the funniest thing is Drake's whole catalog is built for a Super Bowl halftime show. But Kendrick bullied him so bad.
Yep.
They give it to him over Drake. And like Drake can't go to the Super Bowl, bro.
Yeah.
He can't post about the Super Bowl now.
Yep.
Because you know Drake would have been on the sideline up in his suite, taking warm-up slants, catching passes from Patrick Mahomes on the field before the Super Bowl, like all this stuff. He can't go anywhere near New Orleans that whole week. Like Drake's cooked.
And I love it, bro. We're up. LA up 1, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, that's it for Hold My Banner. Tay, you're the best, bro. Always love being on with you on this one. Congrats again. Your city back up. Halftime show of the Super Bowl going to Kendrick Lamar. Great rundown. We'll see you guys new episodes Monday, Wednesday, Friday for Hold My Banner. He's Ountae Campbell. I'm George Balekji. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Deuces.